Hey, look! A hole is opened up in the floor, with stairs leading down. So this is what that button is for. Hello, everyone! I am the MoeChicken, and welcome back to more Portopia Serial Murder Case. In the last episode, we began our investigation with our good buddy, Detective Yasu, who's just like our friend. He hangs out with us. He's sort of an analog through which we interact with other people, because the protagonist never actually does anything. He just tells Yasu to do it. And we are here investigating the death of one, what was it? Yamakawa? Kouzou Yamakawa? Something like that. Kouzou is what he's called through most of the game. He was a loan shark who was murdered in this room, and we're trying to figure out how. So we were exploring his house, and we found a secret passageway. So, let's check it out. Where are we going? Down the stairs. Alright. Welcome to the maze. So, the maze is its own thing. As I understand it, this was added at the request of the what do you call it? The Enix staff after they experienced a wizardry game. So the way I understand it is that in the early days of Enix, the president of Enix wanted talented programmers on staff. And the way he said about finding talented programmers was actually, rather than like just putting out ads for programming, for programmers, he held a contest. And the people who placed in the contest... Oh, hang on, here we go. Here's a little joke. Monster surprised you! Is written here? Yeah, it's straight up a wizardry reference. Of course it is. Now, let's see. I want to move. And so, like, various people were allowed, including Yuji Horie. And, as a means of, as a way to, like, inspire them to bigger and better things, their boss basically sent them to America to attend a conference, like an Apple conference. And while they were there, they saw the wizardry games. And if you never play wizardry, wizardry games have a lot of these kind of like 3D maze segments in them. In fact, that's pretty much all they have. They are full 3D mazes. And so the first release of this game was for, I think, the PC 6601. Which was one of those home computers like the MSX and the MSX2 that were more popular in Japan than they were here. Then they released this Nintendo version. And for whatever reason, they decided we need to have a maze in the Nintendo version. So none of what you're seeing right now, none of this gigantic, unnecessary maze that you probably assume I'm lost in. The good news, I'm actually not, because I've just done it so many times. I'm just kind of wasting time right now to show you the maze. This big, gigantic maze, none of this was necessary. None of it's necessary. I can run Yasu into the wall. I thought that was it. There's some place where the wall sounds different. Just bashing Yasu. I thought it was here. Maybe it's only later on. Yeah, so this maze part was added later in the game, or later in production, and it's fine. Anyway, there's not really a whole lot of reason for us to be here yet, except that there's graffiti on the wall. There's graffiti on the wall. It says, "Go no further, turn back." So that's your first indication that you're actually going the right way. So we're gonna go through here, and the door's gonna close behind us. Oh no, boss! The path behind us is closed in! Oh no! So you enter this big, scary room. You move forward. Then you find... Go over here, go over here, go over here, go over here. Yeah, I had to do this so much. Actually, I made a full map of it on graph paper. I tell you what, Ed, put up the map. That's my map. Y'all like it? It's on graph paper. I got so frustrated down here, but thanks to that, I have now memorized the passageways. So if I turn left here, there's graffiti on the wall. It says, turn here. So if I go... if I were to go left and walk through there, that door would close in behind me and I'd be back in that area. That's the big loop. Instead, we're going to go over here. Keep going. over here. Just keep going. I mean, I think it's fine that they wanted to include this in the game. It definitely seems unnecessary. There's only ever one maze. It kind of strains the sense of the suspension of disbelief when you imagine that this like loan shark had a gigantic like catacomb-esque maze underneath his house, all for the purpose of hiding this one safe. Strains credibility a little bit, but I mean, it's fun, I guess. And back then, you were expected to take notes. Like, if you're playing this game, you're expected to take notes. The only reason I'm not taking notes is because I just played it like 2 days ago. Boss, there's a safe at the end here. There sure is. Open that safe, my friend. Can you investigate that safe? Safe. It opened with the key we found in the study. It's filled with IOUs. Oh, really? Well, he is a loan shark. What do we got? Take them IOUs. Well, then I'll hold on to this as a piece of evidence. Can we look at that? I want to look at that. I want to look at the... Well, you can only investigate your actual evidence usually in the police station, but I think I can look at it here, yeah. It looks like Mr. Hirata had borrowed 3 million yen. But there are also some papers that indicate Kouzou's having made several payments to a Mr. Kawamura. So in other words, we now know that someone was in debt to Kouzou, and we know that Kouzou was in debt to someone else. So we have motive. And that's actually all you have to come down here for. That is the only purpose of the entire maze. No. One of two more purposes of the entire maze. Sorry. There's a purpose much later on in the game, but yeah, for most of the game, it's just that. And actually, the whole thing with the safe, the key, the IOUs, all of that was specifically added for the NES version. It was not in the original PC version. Isn't that interesting? I just think it's interesting that they felt like they needed to add this huge, gigantic maze just because they were so impressed with wizardry. And they were just like, we want wizardry to be something for wizardry to be in our game. It's so cool. And so now we're going to leave. And yes, I just had to do this so many times that I basically have it memorized. I pretty much know exactly where I'm going. We're heading towards the exit along the eastern side of my map. Go up all this way. I mean, I'm kind of glad that there's not more in the maze. Well, no, I'm not. I was going to say because I wouldn't want to have found it. Considering I had to map the whole thing, I actually would have preferred if there was a little bit more reward, but anyway. Yep, we're out of here. Very good, Yasu. We have survived the maze. It's much better than I usually do whenever I play Wizardry. I usually lose a couple characters anytime I try and play Wizardry. You ever play Wizardry? That is a tough game. It's a tough game if you were not used to it. I think we got everything in the living room, so we're done now, I think. So, there's one more thing we have to do here. One last thing we have to do at Kouzou's house. Remember in the last episode when I was talking about the magnifying glass being very particular? And not giving you evidence? Does anybody see the extremely game-critical item that's right there? Right here? Do you see it? Do you see it? Probably not, because it's not there. But it's a ring that you absolutely need to beat the game! So the ring and the lighter were the two things I got absolutely stuck on in this game, and I have a great deal of contempt for both of them. Give me that ring. Ring. Fine. Thank you. Let me look at the ring. Stupid ring. It's a cheap-looking ring. Wonder who dropped it. I don't know, but let's go. Alright, so now we are done investigating the scene of the crime. Let's go talk to the various people involved. So we will now head to the police station. We're now in the interrogation room at the police station. Alright, let's call someone in for questioning. Whom shall I call out, boss? Let's first talk to the security guard. Mr. Komiya. Here's Mr. Komiya. Alright, sir. What can you tell me about your employer? I'd like you to tell us what you know about Kouzou. It wasn't me. I didn't kill no one. Oh, that sounds helpful. Alright, what can you tell me about your alibi? Where were you around 9 p.m. on the 17th? And again, if I had not checked the body and found out that the coroner report put him dead at around 9 p.m. on the 17th, I wouldn't actually be able to ask about alibis. There's just a lot of things in this game, and I've talked about this before with like Touch Detective, where you just have to trigger flags. You have to trigger flags to make other things available, and that's exactly what we're doing here. It wasn't me. I didn't kill no one. All right, so this man is not going to be very helpful yet. Take a look at this knife. Take a look at this knife, please. No, I'm sorry. By the way, Detective, I often heard shouting coming from under the mansion. I wonder what that was all about. It was probably in the wizardry maze. Presumably they were fighting kobolds and goblins. What about this matches? Do you know these matches? Look at this matchbox. Take a look at this matchbox, please. Okay, yeah, you're not being very helpful. Alright, well, Komiya is not helping out at all. Alright, let's call out Fumie. So this is the personal secretary of Fumie, of Kouzou. Ask, can you tell us about your employer? I'd like you to tell us what you know about Kouzou.
We work together at his office, but about his private life, I don't think I can help you.
Alright, where were you at 9 p.m. on the 17th?
After work that day, I went to English conversation school, which started at 7. Class lasted until 10 that day. Afterwards, I went home and went straight to bed.
Alright, so now we can finally use the investigate someone option. So this is how we get Yasu to check up on people. Whom do you want me to investigate? So we want to check on Fumie's alibi. What can you tell me about her alibi? I've been able to confirm that Fumie had indeed been present at her English classes on the night of the murder. Alright. What can you tell me about Mr. Komiya's alibi? Or actually, we don't have one yet, do we? Because he was just yelling. This person hasn't told us an alibi yet. We need to ask for an alibi first. Well, he was not very helpful. So, let's call him in again. Komiya, come inside. So here's Mr. Komiya. You guys ready for the next thing that I was stumped on? We gotta do a good old Goonies 2. Hit this man in the face. Right here, Yasu. Alright, tuck. Pow. Bonk. Okay, I'll talk. The night of the incident, the truth I snuck out secretly and I went out for a drink. And worse, I had forgotten to lock the front door. That's all. I didn't do it. It's the truth, believe me. Alright, so you were not actually at home. Can we verify that this gentleman was out drinking? Can we verify his alibi? Alibi, can you do it? I've been able to confirm his story about having snuck out to get a drink the night of the murder. Alright, so we have now found out that both of the potential suspects we had thus far, or rather the people that found the body so far, both have solid alibi, both have confirmed alibis, and we have no motive. Oh, so motives. That's the other thing you can get Yasu to do. You can have him theorize. Whom should I draw conclusions about? Alright, tell us what you can about Fumie. It doesn't seem like there was a motive for Fumie to kill Kouzou. She was employed by him, so by killing him she loses her job. But maybe she knew something that might have led to it. It really depends on how close their relationship was. What about Mr. Komiya? If Kouzou were to die, Mr. Komiya would be left without a job. There doesn't seem to be much of a motive for him to kill Kouzou. And what can you do? Why would Kouzou have killed Kouzou? Is Kouzou under enough distress as for him to take his own life? And perhaps this case is a homicide after all. So yeah, that's how this game works. You have to draw conclusions, look for evidence, look for motives, and try and put things together. It's really cool. It's just a little janky with the way it's set up. But anyway, that's going to be for this episode. We explored a maze and we questioned people. In the next episode, we will question Toshiyuki, or Pushy. So I hope you will come back and join me for that. I am the MoeChicken. This is the Portopia Serial Murder Case. and thanks for stopping by.